oh, she's a token black girl. She's just here because everybody feels bad for her because she's dark skinned. Da, 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 da. Look at you now. And that little rap that you did, it sounded miserable.
They don't know that I came from the mud. They don't know what it actually does. Grandma died and is leaving me stuck. Where I'm from.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I found this video. It was from the Maya's World. I believe I'm saying that correct. And I actually really like her channel. I agree with some of her stuff. Some of her stuff I disagree, but I overall like her channel. I like a lot of the stuff she brings to the surface. But I feel like a lot of times it lacks context, and it comes off like I am pro-black. I do identify as that because I am monoracial black. But sometimes I feel like the Dr. Umar effect and the Hotep effect be like getting in people's brains, and they don't want to look at anything with any context or nuance. So she was talking about Doechii, and she won a Grammy recently, so congrats to her. And I don't know a lot of her music, but there is a song going viral that I really like. And I've been hearing about her name for quite some time. But I only heard about her name in reference to other light-skinned rappers, or in reference to other rappers that weren't as lyrical, regardless if they were light-skinned or female or not. And it was almost like they only brought her up because she was dark skin in a way, even though I know the majority of people that did that was more so because of her talent, her raw talent, and she has a very unique sound and a very unique fashion sense and the way she presents herself and stuff like that. So I think some people really did just love that it was something different and it was something refreshing. But some people only, same thing with Normani. Some people only brought up, certain girls that look a certain way despite other women, like Ice Spice doesn't deserve it because she's thick and light skinned, but Doechii does because she be grunting on the beat. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely kind of had this group of quote unquote chosen dark skins who, people would reference. And I think it honestly does come from a place of love. Like, these women work just as hard, if not harder, just to get a fraction of what someone else has, and they don't even have a lot of talent. But I think underlining it's something else. Like, I genuinely feel like people have this need to, and I think Exoticals United said it once too, saying that dark skin is not a disability, like it's not a handicap. And I don't want to be, like inconsiderate, because obviously people of darker skin, people with more broader features are just treated differently. Like, whether it's adultification or just straight up racism, like if you're more black, you're more full figured, maybe you're a taller girl, you don't fit this stereotype of this petite, young, light skin. You know what I mean? Especially in the rap world. People are going to treat you differently. People aren't going to give you as much grace. But I definitely felt like when it came to Ice Spice and stuff, that people made it more than what it was. Now I want to show you guys this clip from Maya's World. She's basically saying that, Ice Spice is jealous, and she's probably, feeling really stupid, like egg on her face, for saying certain things about Doechii in those text messages that got leaked. Now, I've actually read the text messages, and some people felt like it was like inconsiderate towards, because she said things like the shea butter community, and she didn't like Doechii's music because she's a chosen light skin, and she's going to act like, she had to work 10 times as hard, which I do believe. And it did come off a little bit tone deaf, but I didn't get colorist from that. You know what I mean? And when I watched this Maya's video, I'm realizing that a lot of people, they kind of hated Ice Spice from jump. Like, and some people, it wasn't just about her skin tone, it was just about her looks and pretty privilege. But if you looked at the text messages, Ice Spice herself said Doechii does not have light skin privilege, but she does have thin privilege. She does have pretty privilege. She has talent privilege, if you will. Everyone's not going to be a lyrical genius. And if you have that in you, and you've crafted that skill and you've honed it, you have an advantage over other people that don't. That's a privilege. So she brought up these different privileges, basically saying, you have upper hands in a lot of different ways, but you still see yourself as a victim. And people will uphold this chosen dark skin trope, or this token black person trope, to basically give you like sympathy and empathy and coddle you. You know what I mean? So I think it's a very nuanced thing where dark skinned women and black women in general do have to fight harder for certain things. But then also there's this thing where it's like, you're kind of stereotyping yourself. You're kind of putting yourself in that box. Like, I did the video about Cleopatra, and she was like just talking, and all of that was just a failed social climbing experiment, if you ask me. I actually did a couple videos on what I felt that situation was, but she was saying something like the tour bus looked like a slave ship. Like, girl, you're Nigerian. Why are you talking about slave ships? Like, your family's not even a part of the Atlantic slave trade. So a lot of people were pulling her black card, saying she's not Nigerian. You know, just basically to downplay her connection to blackness and make her feel like she's not deserving of certain things. And that's not to say that Doechii isn't, because she's definitely talented. But I noticed a lot of people, and they did this with Cleopatra too. They started playing her music, saying it was better than Ice Spice's, which is not. Like, Ice Spice doesn't make the best music, but Cleopatra music is really annoying. I actually prefer Doechii's out of all of them if I had to choose. But yeah, this is just my personal opinion on that. It's definitely something that I noticed. And people like to pick and choose which privileges allow, other certain privileges. Like, if you have thin privilege and you don't have light skin privilege. And I think this was something that went viral too. I think her name was like Slim Kim. She was a beautiful dark skinned woman who doesn't have light skin privilege, but does have thin privilege. And she milked that shit. And that's the same thing Ice Spice said when she first came out, when people were talking about colorism and pretty privilege. She didn't shun away from it. She addressed it head on, acknowledged that that shit was real, and that she was going to milk it, like anybody else would do with any other position if they had a certain privilege. So yeah, this is just something I was thinking about. If you have your own personal opinions, be sure to leave a comment. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.
To a lot of her counterparts in the entertainment industry, those are very big. That's a very big marker. People really enjoy Doechii's authenticity, and like in a arena right now where mixed race, racially ambiguous girls is the norm, is the standard, and often is creating not great music because they're put in these positions through desirability. It is really refreshing to have somebody like Doechii who is actually talented and actually really hungry for this position. And to me, it just shows how the music industry intentionally withholds people who have talent because of how they fit in desirability. And one of the biggest markers of that is going to be things like colorism, anti-fatness, featureism, all of the other isms. But what makes me giggle was the fact that Doechii and Ice Spice were both at Paris Fashion Week at the same time. And this was Doechii's amazing outfit. And I just know Ice Spice was shivering in her timber boots, in her little Tims, pissed that by a girl who she called a chosen dark skin was looking so nice in her outfit, and she was looking like a wet dog. And to me, it's always been very clear that Ice Spice has an issue with Black women, specifically dark-skinned women, because for her to have issue with Baby Stormy, for her to have issue with Cleopatra, and for her to say that Doechii is a chosen dark skin, everything about that gives like, I genuinely believe that Black women are jealous of me. And I've made a video about how people use jealousy to just kind of dismiss systemic oppression. I'm sure in her heart of hearts, she never thought that Doechii was going to have the year that she did and make the impact that she has with style and culture, because she was like, I'm light skinned, there's no way that I will fall off from this tower. But it just shows that so much of her appeal was the backing